Hi, I'm Lynn. Welcome back to my kitchen. Cooking again today. This is my December recipe. I am calling it a Christmas breakfast casserole. Ultimately, it is a bread pudding, a savory bread pudding. If you don't know what that is, if you ever made a bread pudding, you're just flipping it around and taking all the sweet stuff out and putting savory stuff in. So this one is sausages and obviously bread. So I'm going to put onion, pepper, and cheese, obviously, sausage and eggs. Eggs are what kind of bind it together. That's the custard, and milk. And just salt and pepper. It's pretty basic. There's a lot of flavoring that comes from the sausage, so you don't need a whole lot of other things. But this is a recipe. While I'm blabbing, I'm going to cut a pepper. This is a recipe that you can, obviously, bread pudding is a sweet, it's a dessert, but we're flipping it around, making it savory, which is nothing new really. But there's so many things you can do with it. I mean, it's absolutely crazy. Once you get the ratio of bread to custard, you can throw anything you want in there, and the possibilities of the kind of bread you use, absolutely endless. My sisters made it with donuts. I mean, that was to die for. Anything really, and stale bread is better. You can use croissants, you can use Italian bread, you can use brioche, panettone, anything. So you can really have fun with it. And like I said, it's just really about knowing how much milk and eggs to put with how much bread. So pretty easy. Most of them, so this is a 9 by 13 dish I'm doing it in, and so that would typically be about 10 eggs and 6 cups of bread. And ultimately, your bread should be stale-ish, like not rock hard, but a little bit stale. And you can even toast it if you want to get it a little bit with that same texture of sort of being stale. You could kind of toast it a little bit. It's going to be good either way, and also the ultimate way to make a bread pudding or a casserole like this would be to let it sit overnight, and that's why this one is called a Christmas casserole. And the idea of it is to make it up the night before, let it sit in the oven, let the bread soak up all that beautiful custard, the milk and the eggs, and then pop it in the oven Christmas morning. And by the time you're done, it takes about an hour. By the time you're done, opening gifts and that sort of thing and having your coffee, it'll be ready. So that's why I'm calling it Christmas breakfast casserole. But obviously, eat it anytime you want. So I've got a pepper here, and I'm going to do a small onion. If you have a bigger one, just use half. And you could put, you can leave out the onion. You could put green onion, shallot, whatever your heart desires. Again, the flavoring, the flavor of it, or the ingredients, the only thing you really can't vary is the bread, obviously, although you put different kinds of bread, is the custard, so you need that. And that's the only thing that it has in common, is just those two things, and then you can do whatever you want. Put bacon. I hate pulling these things off. Other kinds of sausage. You put hash browns in there. Make it like a whole meal, really. Come on. Don't do this to me. Is there a trick to getting that off? Because if there is, I haven't found it yet. So yeah, 10 eggs, 6 cups of bread, and whatever else you want. It's going to be savory for me. It's got to have cheese. So it gets ooey gooey and melty and yummy. So I'm just going to dice this small. Still got some of that there. Just a small dice. And the first thing we're going to do, so I have about a pound of sausage and 2 cups of cheese, although I'm going to sprinkle, ooh, that's potent. I'm going to sprinkle some Parmesan in addition to that on top, because that's my favorite. You want a good melting cheese too. And I don't know if I would use mozzarella, even though it's a good melting cheese. But Fontina, Gruyere, anything, whatever's your favorite. I just have cheddar. It's a good melting cheese. You put goat cheese. You could put blue cheese. That would be really different. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is drop everything on the floor. That's the first thing we're going to do. Is get the pan hot, and it's going to put a little olive oil because we're going to get some fat from the sausage. I'm going to saute all this, get that nice and cooked through, because you don't want to put anything raw, like you don't want to put raw meat in there. So if you're going to use bacon, cook your bacon. I'm crying. Potent onion. All right, so let's do this. Let's get this in here. It's kind of a lot. Do I want to use all that? Once you get used to doing certain methods, you kind of don't need recipes anymore. You kind of just get that out of here. Too much. You kind of get used to the ratios of things, and you can play around with them and have fun with it. Throw some salt in there, do the pepper. So I'm going to cook mine right away. I'm not going to let it sit because we're having it for dinner. So I'm going to get my oven on. So it's going to be 325. And yeah, that's all there is to it. Get that going. Put that down. Sweat them. The difference between sweating an onion and caramelizing an onion is the salt. So if you put salt in it, it's going to draw the liquid out. It's not going to caramelize. So if you're caramelizing onions, don't put salt till after they're all done. You can even put a little sugar to help draw out the sugar, the sweetness of the onion. But don't put salt if you're trying to caramelize. That's your lesson of the day. Alright, I'm going to get this in here because that's going to take a little bit to cook through. Break that up. I bought sausage in the casing and I took it out of the casing. You take it out of the casing before you saute it, obviously. Let that go. Break it all up small. The more you break it up, the faster it'll cook. And you can break it up after it cooks, but it might not cook as even that way. So I'm just going to let that go. So instead of making you watch sausage cook, I'm going to pause and I'll be right back. I'm still tearing up after that onion. Okay, so we're just about there. We're got a couple little pink spots, but we're just about there. So I'm going to just let that finish up. And while that is happening, we're going to make up our milk mixture. Milk and eggs. Is this big enough? No. Let's go with this. Turn that down. So these are there. These are there. Check every little piece. Okay. And this is my bread. It's probably a little more than 6 cups, but we'll see. After a while, you can just kind of eyeball things, All right, so I've got 10 eggs. I'm gonna whisk those up. This should be fun. Let's get the trash over here. 4 cartons, so I can't lose count. 6. Ooh, these are big too. They're large, but they're actually really large. 2 more. And we need 3 cups of milk. You can use half and half too if you want to make it a little richer. Do that. I'm using whole milk. And I need 3 cups. That's my oven. Okay, I've got 3 cups. And I'm gonna season that a bit. Pepper and salt, not too much. Bacon and sausage can be salty, so be a little careful. I'm gonna give that a good whisk. Get it mixed up, make sure all the yolks are broken. And oddly, not so oddly, where is it? Nutmeg. Anytime you're making a quiche or a frittata, in here, custard, just a tiny little pinch of nutmeg, right? I don't know if you've ever heard that before, but you heard it here. Okay, set that aside. And so now we're going to start layering. Get rid of that. And let's put, get that messy thing. And let's get our dish. So I've got a 9 by 13 that I buttered. Okay, so we're going to start with the bread. And just do a layer of bread on the bottom. It's only going to be 2 layers, so it's half. You want to put half the bread. And that looks good. Just make sure you got it all covered evenly. And then we're going to do, I need to break my eggs up a little better. I need a lot of yolk. You know, the darker the yolk is, the more orange it is. That means it's fresher and better for you. So, let me turn this off. Get a slotted spoon. So we're going to do half the sausage mixture. Right over there. And spread that around. Got all of our veggies seem to have migrated to the sides there. Okay. There we go. And see, the last time I did this on my laptop, I had issues with the audio, so I'm hoping that's not, I should have checked it. That's not happening. All right, let's get some cheese on here. I'll just have to yell, cheese. Get that cheese all in there. Can't have too much cheese, in my opinion. I'll get some more bread down in there. Let's throw a little Parmesan in there. Okay, and then get some more bread. Let's throw it all on there. And then the rest of the sausage. Just all over the place. Where's my... Let's get all that in there. I used sweet Italian sausage. You can use hot Italian if you want. And I really actually could have probably done with a little bit more meat in this casserole, but it's going to be good anyway. Alright, so we're going to throw, let's do this one first. Probably could use a little more cheese. Throw this in there. Whatever kind of cheese you like. And people are picky about their cheeses. And then we're going to just toss this over the top. Gently. Just kind of pour it all into all the little nooks and crannies. It's going to bake on 325 for about 55 minutes to an hour. And I'm going to cover it. So you want to make sure that all that bread is getting soaked and soaking up all that goodness. And when I'm done, when it comes out, and you could garnish it with some chives or green onion. I'm going to put some parsley on it when it's done, but right now I'm going to cover it and slide it in the oven, and I'll see you in a little bit. All right, it came out of the oven and it's looking fantastic. I'm going to hold it up, and I don't know, the lighting seems bright. I don't know if you can see the coloration on that, but it's all brown. Let's see if I can balance it. It's got all golden brown. And what you're looking for is, it should kind of jiggle a little, but you want to make sure that any place where you can see egg, that it's cooked through. And it's been in for an hour, and it got brown. I took the foil off at about 30 minutes, about halfway through. Take the foil off, and then that way it can brown, and it really puffed up beautifully, and it looks great. So I am going to take a little piece. I'm actually going to garnish it with a little parsley, just for a little color, a little green for Christmas. Let me grab a little plate. I'm going to steal a little piece. It's going to be really hot. I'm probably going to burn my mouth. Okay, so if I was serving this, I would let it sit for a little bit, but who has that kind of time? Coming out pretty cleanly. And I'm surprised the bread actually absorbed really well. It really soaked up a lot of that custard, even though I didn't let it sit overnight and my bread wasn't stale. So you can bake it right away and it should come out great. See, it's kind of like a souffle in a way. It puffed up nicely. Beautiful. Let's see if I can burn my mouth. It's so light and fluffy. It's so good. Take a piece of sausage. Yummy. Super yummy. Make it your own. Put whatever you want in it. Just use that ratio of 10 eggs and 6 cups of bread, 3 cups of milk, and add whatever ingredients you want to make it your own. And make it for Christmas morning. Make it for whatever you want. Whatever holiday you're celebrating. I hope it's happy and healthy. And we'll see you again in January. Take care.